Hi, from Eastern Kentucky. I'm Tina of Tina's Country Door. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to make a fall flower wreath using the Dollar Tree bicycle wreath frame. The items you will need for this flower are the 14-inch bicycle wreath frame from the Dollar Tree, one roll of 10-inch two-tone brown gold poly deco mesh, one roll of 10-inch two-tone red gold poly deco mesh, and one roll of 10-inch metallic moss apple green poly deco mesh. I have 24 pieces of the green for the leaves, 36 pieces of the brown gold, and 35 pieces of the red gold. Now sometimes the rolls can be a little short, but I'll figure out how to make up for that as I go along in this flower to kind of hide where I'm missing that extra piece. I got all my deco mesh from Craft Outlet. You will also need zip ties. I keep my zip ties in this little container. It's a repurpose from my kitchen. I got those from Amazon. I'll leave a link for those in the description. I am an affiliate with Amazon, so I do get a small commission at no additional cost to you if you use my link. You will also need these elastic bands. I use these to pre-make petals, and I just put the bands on them to hold them together. You can get the bands from Walmart or the Dollar Tree, and they're $1. And you will need a center for your wreath. This is a center I'm using. I made this using the acrylic pouring technique. I show how I make my centers in my Ophelia Wreath Designs group on my Facebook page. It's a paid tutorial group. I will leave a link for the group in the description. I love using the acrylic pour method on the flower centers because it really makes the flower wreaths unique. And I use Rust-Oleum clear gloss spray to seal this center. I sprayed 3 to 4 coats on it. You'll also need 2 floral pins, wire cutters, pliers, and glue gun and glue sticks. Now, I cut all of my petals at 10 inches, so they're 10 by 10, using my wood burning tool. The reason I've already got a few petals on here is because I wasn't sure how I was going to fold my petals to put them on the frame. So I played around with some mesh before I started to figure out how I wanted to do my petals. I got the inspiration from my friend Michelle from A Noble Touch. She has a video showing how she made a flower wreath on this frame. I'll put a link to that video in my description. Now I cut 24 of the green petals because there are 12 bars on this frame. I'm going to be putting 2 petals in each of these, and that's to help fill it out to make it fuller. And I'm not adding a grid to this because by the time I put all the petals on here, I should have no issue filling that in, and you won't even be able to notice that. And I should be able to attach all the leaves, all the petals to these. So how I'm doing my green petals, let's get 2 of these. Let's get my stuff out of the way. So I've got my 10 by 10 petal, got it rolled up. Now when you do these, you want to make sure that your petals are consistent with each other. And what I mean by that is if you start your first petal with your factory edge here, because I'm doing it in a diamond shape. So if I start my first petal and my factory edge is here, I want to make sure every petal that I make from this one on, the factory edge is here so that they are consistent with each other. So what I'm going to do is bring the bottom and the top corner to meet in the middle, and then I'll walk this in. And then I flip it like that. Now I'm going to hold this like that while I do this one. And again, I want my factory edge here. I'm going to bring the bottom and top corner in and then walk it in. Flip it around. Put these 2 like this. Now I want the one on the outside to lay over the one on the inside just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna pull it like that. Get one of my elastic bands. And this is so I can make these up before I put them on the frame. So if I need to straighten anything out, which this isn't exactly even, putting it with the elastic on it instead of going on ahead and putting it on the frame helps give me some time to work on that and get it. Yeah, that's not, wasn't even. Let's lay these out to make sure I get them, the tips are even. Okay. I'm not trying to get them perfect. I am actually going to try to be less perfect than I usually do. I'm a perfectionist, so that's going to be very hard for me, but I'm going to try. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I attach it to the frame, and then I will make up all my other ones and come back. To attach it to the frame, I take one zip tie. See where this crosses here? I'll lay it like that. I'll lay this down, bring the top around, bring the bottom around. I'll start to zip it. I won't automatically go ahead and zip it all the way. I don't like to just, when I'm working on a wreath, I slowly attach my stuff to the frame because I never know when I might need to adjust something. So I don't like to just straight attach it as tight as I can from the get-go. So, okay. So what I did is I crossed these over. I took the first zip tie and I crossed over that way and I pulled it around. And then I took the second zip tie and I crossed it over this way and pulled it around. Now I want to make sure I've got the petals. And like I said, I'm going to try to purposely not be perfect, but that's going to be really hard for me. So now I'm going to go ahead and zip it all the way. I've got all of the leaves on. So now I'm going to start on the first row of petals. I already put two on because like I said, I was playing with the petals trying to figure out how I wanted to fold them. I'm going to show you how I'm going to fold the first row of petals, then show you how to put it on, and then do the first row and come back and show you how I'm going to do the second row. Now, I was thinking that I might need to do 3 rows of petals. I don't know, we'll see. I've never done a flower on this frame before, so I won't know until I get there. So to do the first row of flower petals, I've got 10 by 10 cut. This is the brown gold two-tone. And I make sure the factory edge is here because that's how I started all of the petals. And I'm just going to take it from this corner and walk it to this corner and then pull it around like this. Make sure they're even. I'm going to take an elastic. Now I'm not worried about using too many of these because you can get 500 of these in a pack for $1. And they just help me to hold on to the petals. I'm just going to put that on there to hold it while I make the red gold petal that I'm going to put with this petal. You could get a potato bag clip or clothespin or something to hold that if you want to, but I just use the elastic. I do the same thing with the red gold, diamond shape, factory edge here, walk it from one corner to the other corner, and then flip it that way. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to stick it in the center of that, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this. I don't want these like the leaves, like the leaf petals were. I want them more kind of fanned out, but still over each other like that. You can see. And I'm going to hold that while I get an elastic and put an elastic on it. Okay, and lay this down, spread those out the way. I'm trying to get them, so I want them like this. Now I'm going to take this, get a zip tie, just run it. I tell you, make sure you get it under the frame, because I put a couple on and I didn't get them under the frame. I totally missed the frame, so. And then tighten it. So this is what, I'll get that out of the way, it's looking like. And this is the back so far. Now I'm going to finish putting the petals on this row, and I will come back and show you how I'm going to do the second row of flower petals. I decided it was best to have 3 rows of flower petals so that it was full enough to hide the frame. So the second row of flower petals I did just like I did the first row of flower petals. So I went on ahead and did that. So now I'm going to show you how I'm going to do the petals for the last row and how to stick those on. It's the same way that I did the leaf petals. So I've got the brown gold. Make sure I've got this in. Factory edge here because that's how I started. Bring the tips together. Walk in. And flip it that way. I can't believe it snapped. Okay, now I'm doing the red gold two-tone. Factory edge, diamond shape, top and bottom corner meet, and walk it in. And then flip it over. Put this in here. Make sure the tips line up. Get my elastic. Put it on there. And straighten it out the way I want it. Okay, so this is what the last row of petals is gonna look like. So let's get a zip tie. Make sure you run it under the frame. Lay that on there. And I needed this third row too because my center is 4 1/4 inches. So I needed it to come down farther. This to come down farther because my center wouldn't have isn't big enough to come out, that far. So this is, just fix the petals a little bit. Take that off. Now I'm going to put all of the third row on, and then I will come back and we'll do the center. I finished the last row of flower petals. It got a bit crowded in the center, so I had 12 petals. I put 6 on there in every other bar, and then went back and put 6 more in the bars that I skipped because I had to kind of stack them a little bit to get them all in there. Now I'm going to do my center. This is a center that I poured, and it's on a half sphere foam, and I sprayed it with Rust-Oleum gloss spray. I show how I do my pours in my video Wreath Designs group, where I show how to do my flowers, tree, and angel wings. If you want to check that out, that's on my Facebook page. But so how I do my centers, I take, to attach them to the flower, I take 2 floral pins, and I like to cut these off just a little bit so they're not too long to stick in the foam. Now I'm going to try to center them. So I'll stick this down in the foam that way. Then take this other one, stick it in the opposite direction. Get that down in there. And I have them like that. And I'll put a little bit of glue on that to secure them in there. But I'll run my zip tie through that so I can attach it to the flower. But I'll put a little glue, just a little bit, on these. Which they're down in there pretty good. I don't think they're going to come out. And I'm going to let that dry just a little bit, because when it's wet and I stick the zip tie through there and any of that gets on the zip tie, I have trouble pulling that all the way through the head. So I just want that to harden just a little bit. This has cooled off and hardened. So I'll put my zip tie through that. And then I'll take it, figure out how I want to put it on here, you know, with the designs on my centers. As you can see, there are different designs. So I want to figure out how I want the designs to show as a center. So let's run this and get this through there. Get a hold of the zip tie. Okay. I'll run the head. Probably should use another zip tie. This is what I'm going to do because my zip ties aren't long enough. These are 6 inches long, but not long enough. So I'm going to zip this. And then I'm going to take this and run it like that to use 2 zip ties. Run that through there, and then the head to this one. So I advise longer zip ties. Is that even? No, that's not. I want to make sure I get it centered. So I want to get these in between the bars that are straight across from each other. Okay. Now I'm not going to zip that all the way yet because I still need to zip this one that's in here. And in order to get a hold of that, I need the one that's on the back loose. And I'll stick this in there. Clip that off. Flip it back over and pull this. I'm not worried about this showing because I'll cover the back. Okay. So there we've got it. Now, I buy these placemats from the Dollar Tree. You can use felt or something like that if you want to, but these work just fine. So I'll flip this over. Now with this, see, I just lay that almost perfectly. It just hangs over just a little bit, so it's not. They have like green, brown, orange, different colors. I'll just try to slide it through there. in 4 different places. That off, push the head under. All right, there we go. I will hang it up, get a picture, and show you the finished flower. Here's the flower hanging up. It measures 29 inches in diameter. I love how the red gold two-tone contrasts against the brown gold two-tone, and I think the center really makes it pop. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, please subscribe. If you haven't followed me on social media yet, you can check out my accounts at the links I'll leave in the description. I hope you got some inspiration from this tutorial. I love to inspire others to create because I believe that creativity makes the world a more colorful place, and we can always use more color in our lives. So until next time, God bless. Bye.